Thank you for staying with Channel 1. This is BizCheck. My name is Betty Kiptum. In the second hour of the conversation, we want to talk about the state of packaging in Kenya and emerging trends. And to have this conversation is Joseph Nyongesa, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
Just as an introduction, what does the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya do?
The Institute of Packaging Professionals is there to build packaging skills, packaging capability in the country, to make sure that our packaging is functional. It can fulfill its mandate of making sure that we receive our products safely and well protected into our homes. So we enhance and build skills in the packaging sector and encourage networking, bring best practices, and support exhibitions that bring packaging technology in the country and in the region. So it is basically a skill enhancing and creating a collaborative framework between the packaging converters, users, regulators, so that we can form a coherent approach to packaging in the country. Mm-hmm. So that is, in brief, what we do, bringing mastery skills, getting best global skills, bringing them in the country, so that the Kenyan economy can be supported, the consumers can be supported, the users can be supported, and the manufacturers can also be supported.
Right, and you hold very many hats, both locally and internationally.
Yeah.
I'd just like to hear from you, what has been the packaging history of Kenya from where we started and where we are now?
Well, the packaging history of Kenya, it has become blossoming maybe in the last 30 years or so. When we started out, we had, it was responding to needs of the country to export products, because packaging has to contain, protect, and preserve products. First, it was carrying out raw materials like tea, coffee, to export markets or local markets. But going further, packaging has been there since time immemorial, because things have always been carried, you always carry something. Mm-hmm. And anything that contains and enables you to move from point A to B is a package. It is basically containment. So it has come like that. And it has been moving as urbanization has been moving, because as people come from the countryside to come to the urban areas or to local markets, they need products to be brought to them, whether it's milk or tea or coffee or bread, they need it to be brought. So urbanization started accelerating the rate of packaging. First, we were just carrying maybe in baskets and so forth. But as we continued, then some different formats of packaging started coming in, like plastic bags, like metal containers started coming in. We had started having glass bottles coming in. And as urbanization accelerated, this acceleration became very fast. And now we need packaging that is not only supporting, to ensuring that we get products in our homes, and at all levels, even the ones at the lower pyramid. We have what we call Kadoko packaging, where the economy is very important. So as urbanization has grown and people have flooded the towns, and this has been the trend all over the world, so you have now to make packaging that will reach the lowest level, like what we call Kadoko economy. You have seen tea with small packs, maybe milk, maybe sugar, all forms of products. So this has continued to grow as a result of this urbanization, as people move from the rural setting, where you could keep a cow and have your milk, where you don't go to the river. So now you have to go to the market to get the product from there. And as we have continued to promote local trade, that is things moving around the country, we have needed packaging that can move from all over the country. And we have continued to need packaging that can move in the region. As trade, when a trade now starts, you have to trade from one county, one village to this, and you need package, you need things to carry your stuff, you need containers, and they must deliver what you want. So you need the package. Now when you are now trading in the country from one corner to the other, you need package to deliver the goods, protect them and deliver them safely. So as this accelerated, therefore the growth of packaging accelerated. Because when you were in the village, your supply chain was very short. You didn't need things from anywhere. You could do everything at your home. Now when we went into the regional trade, now we have to take things from here to Uganda, to Tanzania, to Africa, to the whole world. Then the packaging becomes more critical, because the packaging has to carry your product, protect and deliver it to an acceptable market in Europe. And we are sending our products to Europe, to China, everywhere. They have to be contained, protected, they must be safe, and they must reach when they are fresh. So the evolution, things have been growing like that over time. And they will continue to grow as trade expands.
Right. I think, of course, packaging is a very important sector. As you say, there's nothing that we carry without packaging. You know, I can't just go scoop sugar from the supermarket.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right. And so we know that packaging actually sometimes influences purchases that consumers make. I know, for instance, that I have bought something because the packaging looks so good.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And so just give us an overview of how important this is for brands.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, let me give an example. This morning, and this applies to everybody, every consumer, to show the handwork and what we call the handprint of packaging. I took tea in the morning. Well, let me start from the time I woke up. I woke up this morning. I went to the bathroom. I had my toothbrush. So I used my favorite brand, and therefore, because that when I see that brand, I trust it and have confidence in it. So that affects my perception, because I've gone to the bathroom and I've brushed my teeth with that brand, and that brand I now become loyal. When I go to the shop, I look for it. And if it doesn't perform, then next time I look for another brand. Now I went to shower. I got my favorite soap brand. It is also packaged, and therefore I used that soap, and it has a name which I trust. So I use it all the time. So now I come to breakfast. There is tea which has a brand name, and which I always buy, and therefore I say this is my favorite tea. When it is brought, I take it. Then I had the sugar, which is also branded. So you can see the handwork and handprint of packaging in our everyday life. Because this morning I've encountered packaging of tea, I've encountered packaging of sugar, I've encountered packaging of bread. I saw some bread, because maybe for us who are privileged to have bread for breakfast. Maybe I saw my favorite honey brand. I saw some margarine. I saw some milk. And maybe I saw some eggs which had been safely brought to my table. They have not broken down. So these are the handworks of packaging that they reinforce, because a brand is what I perceive in my mind. Because when these brands are they are confronting me from waking up to breakfast, and when I came out, I saw that the transport system is working, facilitated by packaging. I saw the potatoes are being delivered, unga are being delivered. The logistics system is working. So it is all facilitated by packaging.
Right.
When I go to the pharmacist, they give me medicine that is packaged. So what? To go back to your question about branding and packaging. Packaging is the carrier of the brand. It is what you see before you see the product. When you go to the supermarket, you see the handwork of packaging. You see the hands, what we call handprint of packaging. You see the supermarket is decorated, it's beautified, looks marvelous work of art, which we take for granted. But that's packaging. When you go to the supermarket, what you see is, without the packaging, you see the supermarket glittering. Yeah. You see Omo, you see this brand, this brand, this brand. That's the handwork of packaging. And in fact, traditionally, packaging has been called the silent enabler. It enables the products to be seen and to be sold. So when you go to the supermarket, you see your beauty cream, your whatever, that brand is etched in your mind. You trust it. Right. So packaging facilitates that trust, and it doesn't just happen. It takes people to work through it. When you are admiring the beautiful supermarket, there's a lot of work that goes in: engineering, material science, brand design, art, all kinds of efforts have gone in to get that decoration and the beautification that you get that product. And it also demonstrates functionality, because that product reached there has traveled miles and kilometers. Maybe it has traveled half around the world, or even if it has only come from a neighboring town, it has been facilitated to arrive there safely, so that it can fulfill its mandate. Okay. So we'll see that as the handwork of packaging, and it is marvelous. Right.
Let's talk about an emerging issue in terms of sustainability. We know that there are different materials that are used for packaging different things, and it's based on the need of the consumers and also the kind of thing that is being packaged. Yeah. From a packaging professional's perspective, what is being done and what more can be done to ensure sustainability in the packaging that we use?
That's great. That's a great question. Of course, as sustainability is a topic that applies to every facet of human life, and packaging is not an exception. As much as we have talked about the handprint of packaging, there is also the footprint of packaging. There are negative concerns across the life cycle. And as we have, when we are making packaging, there is raw material extraction. And that has a huge impact across it has the effect on the environment. Let's unpack that. If you look at plastics, for example, plastic is coming from fossil fuel. So you are digging from the fossil fuel and converting it into plastic. That's an extractive industry. So you have to that is, let's talk about plastic, which is the most talked about. So it is coming from fossil fuel, although there are efforts to do other sources like bioplastics and all that, but that have not become mainstream and have not been proven, and they are not yet very functional. So there are a lot of experiments going on. So, but these plastics comes from fossil fuel. It starts its journey there, its life. Now we are talking of life cycle. Because when it comes to also packaging, we are talking of footprint. From a professional perspective, we are looking at the whole life cycle. When this thing is extracted from the fossil fuel, what impact does it cause? What energy does it consume? What resources are used? Then this material is transported. It is transported as energy used, and it creates some impact. Because when you use energy, you are creating some impact. This material is used, and when you look at its end life, it is either reused again and again, and that is one of the things that we are doing as packaging professionals, is to try to keep it in the loop for as long as possible, so that you don't go to the ground again to keep extracting fossil fuel. So that is one of the contributions. In all these industries, there's a lot of effort on recycling, reusing, repurposing, and also reducing materials, because these bottles have been if this bottle was maybe 30 grams some few years ago, it is now maybe 10. So you are putting less plastics in the environment. So the industry has been addressing those things to ensure that the packaging, we are talking of what's called circular economy, so that the plastic remains in the loop. And as we talk now, we are now reaching a point where this bottle can be returned, so that you have bottle to bottle. It is used. Then it is, when you have finished using it at the end of its life, it can be returned again and be reprocessed and be refilled again. This is happening in stages. Right now, the emerging regulations are requiring that we put some recycled content in this, and Kenya has really been leading in the continent by making a standard for recycled PET. This is PET, so that you can use the material again. This recycling again, so that we reduce the footprint in the environment. So there are those negative, what the footprints are normally associated with the negativity, because it will say it's causing greenhouse gases, it is causing global warming, it's causing climate change, and all those things, you know.
Right.
And it is not only packaging, but all the other things are also contributing. A more important thing is, of course, you have highlighted the importance of packaging, especially in food loss and waste, because if we wasted food, we would create more global warming and all that. And so there are concerns. We are concerned that we minimize the negative footprints, as they are normally called, and maximize the handprints,
right,
the good part of it. So we have kind of a balance around it.
Okay. Kenya was among the first countries to ban the use of the plastic bags.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right.
And yet somehow we still have a very polluted environment.
Yes.
So let me come to the point that you had raised, that there's the individual responsibility that we all have.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear from you in terms of how we treat our waste. When I carry my bag of shopping to the house, there's food waste, the organic one, and then there's the plastic waste.
Yeah, and the other
I
waste.
probably mix them up in my bin, and I have no idea where they end up.
Yeah.
How can we do better as an economy, as a people, to make sure that even at the point of household, we are sorting better and more recycling is happening?
Yeah, that is well recognized, and the government has come in with a regulation of waste management regulations, which require that you and me sort out our waste at our house. There's a regulation like that, but it takes more than a regulation to operationalize it. Now let's see the reality. In my home, we create, we are all waste generators.
Yes.
We are all waste. We generate some form of waste on a daily basis. So we generate this organic, we generate this plastics, paper, all kinds of waste. Then we put in a bag. Then somebody comes to collect the bag, and then it dumps it on a lorry. And where it ends, we don't know. Let's assume that we are very good citizens. Let's assume we sort out the thing at your house. You have maybe one bag for, and this is coming in, it's becoming law. You have one bag for plastics, one bag for paper, and one cup for organics. So you do that. But if the ecosystem is not prepared for it, so that when they collect, they don't mix it up, go and dump it in a dumping place, then we are back to square one.
Yeah.
So we need to build, in parallel to the consumers being enabled to sort out their packaging waste. And I'm sure one day we shall reach there. We know that in other countries people sort things in a nice way. Everything is sorted out nicely. And then the collection system is also sorted. It is going to separate the glass, the bottles, and so forth into their own individual. And then the people who receive, because waste is a resource. If we have organic waste, we could make fertilizers out of it. If we get these clean bottles in the industry, we shall make others. But it is an ecosystem issue. The regulators are making regulations. The waste management, which is a devolved function in our governance system, needs also to rise to the occasion. Because this is where collaboration is more necessary than ever before. And we could turn this waste into a big opportunity,
And on that note, what is the place of manufacturers and of course in collaboration with the packaging professionals in completing that cycle?
Well, the professionals have accepted the responsibility, supported by legislation. There is a law now in the country that every manufacturer takes responsibility for his waste. That means there is we have created what is called producer responsibility organizations. There is a law called EPR, extended producer responsibility, where me as a manufacturer of this, I'm responsible for this end of life of this bottle. And how am I responsible? I can go out and collect all my bottles because all the bottles are labeled or they have a label. So I'm supposed to go out and collect my bottles individually. If the law that has been set in place, if my bottle is got in the Nairobi water system, I'm liable. I have taken responsibility. But then how have we organized? We have said alone, we cannot manage. So organizations called extended producer responsibility organizations have been created so that I'm responsible financially. I pay this organization. We have some like KPRO, PACPRO, and others. So this framework ensures that as packaging professionals, we are taking our responsibility. And we have taken responsibility at the financial level. What that means is the amount of plastic that I put in the environment, I pay this organization, and this organization is supposed to complete the loop to make sure they go around, collect this packaging, organize the collection, the sorting, and where this packaging will end. And therefore, when they end there, then the industry picks it up because they can recycle this material, reuse it, and or if there's no end to it, it can be converted to energy, because this thing is energy. You can burn it to generate energy. It is fuel. Mm-hmm. So we need to complete this loop so that we can do something, so that waste becomes an opportunity instead of a cost. So the industry is taking some action about it.
Right, and of course, the speed at which this action is taken needs to be hastened because of the climate change and the effects that we're already feeling, as a continent. So as we come to a close of the conversation, I'd like to hear from you, what is the way forward, and what would be your rallying call to Kenyans, even at an individual perspective?
Okay. Well, my rallying call is that it starts with me and you. Packaging has come in response to a consumer need, and it is all about people. So if we wake up and say, okay, we don't want to do this type of packaging, then the industry will respond. You are talking about the footprints and climate change. We are now, and we have to look at it holistically, because the regulators have to do their bit, and we are happy Kenya is doing their bit. Mm-hmm. As you rightly said, the ban was...
You can take a second to just take your water, no problem. Remember that we are speaking with Joseph Nyongesa. He's the CEO of the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya, and we are talking about sustainability in packaging and of course emerging trends, how to ensure that things are getting to you safely but also responsibly. Joseph, are you okay to continue with your point?
It's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so of course the consumer has a big role to play, not only in the voting for the packaging they want in the market, but also for, as I said, we are all waste producers. So we also become responsible in sorting out our things. And those who are in charge of the ecosystem also make sure they create the ecosystem for the thing to work seamlessly. Otherwise, packaging will continue to play a critical role in ensuring that products reach us and the economy runs, and it will continue to support the national economic agenda, whether it is better the current government's move of bottom-up agenda, or Vision 2030, or export strategy, because we have to get our products out to Europe or to China. We can't do it without packaging.
You can't do it without packaging.
We can sign all kinds of agreements, regional, bilateral, name them. But it can't happen, because products to move from here to Ghana, you need packaging, or even to move from Nairobi here to my village in Bungoma, you need packaging.
Awesome.
So we need packaging. So we should maximize the handprint of packaging as we try to minimize the footprint. And we should look at it holistically and scientifically. You might say, okay, glass is the best form of packaging. Yes, it is. But if you look at its life cycle, you'll come up with a different conclusion. If you look at paper is coming from cutting trees. You look at the life cycle. You're talking of climate. So if we cut all the trees to make paper, which is very appealing, so we need to strike a balance. But the good news is that as professionals, we are trying to balance all these things. to make sure that those negative footprints, climate change, are minimized as we maximize the other things. Like now, SMEs have to be supported.
Okay. And
they can only be supported by packaging to join the economic stream.
Those are very important pointers.
So an SME is struggling. They start making some ground nuts. They need something to put in. They are starting value addition. They need packaging to propel them to go to the next level.
Yes.
And as IOPPK, we support SMEs to ensure that they can also move up the value chain.
Okay.
Because if they don't get economically empowered, poverty is the worst form of climate change. Because when people have no hope, what interest do they have in climate? If they are not climbing up in the economic system, how will they be concerned?
Right.
So this is part of economic empowerment, trade, and safety. So we are happy that KBC is taking this initiative to interview us. We are also contributing to bring a balanced view that in this issue of packaging, we are in the same boat, and we try to maximize the handprint as we minimize the footprint.
Thank you.
So
thank you. Thank you very much. I think that is where we'll end the conversation on the state of packaging in Kenya and emerging trends. I have been speaking with Joseph Nyongesa, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Institute of Packaging Professionals of Kenya. Thank you very much for your valued company here on BizCheck. Sheila Yogo is standing by to bring you the latest in Kurunzi, Mashinani, and later Tamrini. My name is Betty Kiptum. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Betty.
Asante sana.